Hi, I'm Shamir with the Teen Arts Council, and today we have Bill T. Jones with us. Thank you for having us.
I'm Simon.
I'm Mithsuca.
Just to start out, we were wondering, like, what really inspired you to start to pursue dance or to appreciate dance on a personal level?
I was in a small urban community, and the only thing they had there was a wonderful drama teacher. And that drama teacher encouraged me to direct and so on, and I even got to improvise a performance in high school. But I went off to the university, and while there, the theater department was welcoming, athletics was welcoming, but there was this thing called dance that sort of stole my heart away, if you will. I discovered there were two kinds of sweat. There was the competitive sweat of sports, and then there was another kind of sweat that came with exerting yourself for poetic ends. I call it poetic sweat, and it won.
As a teenager, since you weren't like fully introduced to dance, what were other things were you interested in?
Sports, and was one thing. I was always interested in reading. And there was this question that had to do with race somewhat, because I was looking around as I became more aware of the world. Where were the people that looked like me? All the black people that I saw in the center of the culture were entertainers. So I thought, well, I guess that means I'm an entertainer.
What similarities do you see, like, yourself as a teen and like teens nowadays?
I think young people now, probably like I was, can be a bit insufferable because you feel like all the adults are lying to you and they don't really deserve your respect. And you are scared to death, scared on all sorts of fronts. As young women, I can imagine. As young men, what's it mean to be a man, to be a woman? Those things were very much there at that time.
Do you feel like your personal struggles, like your kind of questioning of reality almost, do you think that really played a role in how you question dance as like kind of a set in stone idea?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They're questioning reality. Where did that start? Maybe it was there was a disjunction between my parents' experience and the culture at large, and then there was the reality that came with well, things like what is a man. You know, I mean, the locker room talk. I didn't feel any affinity for that stuff. So so is something wrong with me? Well, just better be cool. Don't say anything. So there's already this very antagonistic relationship to reality. And let's face it, reality is oftentimes sort of assigned by the group, isn't it?
Do you feel like through dance you've found your sense of identity more so and you're more comfortable like with yourself as a person and as an individual?
You know, you never find out. You have behavior that is assigned behavior, but the truth of who you are, I don't know. I eat meat. I love it. I feel it is not the most responsible way to live on the planet, but my taste takes precedent over even my sense of morality. Am I the best lover? Am I the best friend? So, why is a man who is 64 years old with all of the accomplishments I have still asking those questions? That's my answer to your question.
Do you have any advice for people like who are pursuing like the career of like dance or like broadly like the arts?
First thing, what do you think success is? And then what are you doing? What are you literally doing? If you're interested in making a film, make a film. If you're interested in design, design. And then let the world have its way with you. And it will. So, for people who think they might want to do, stand up on your feet and do.
In terms of like this interfacing with the artistic world or the people who will tell you who you are, tell you, I don't know, who they expect you to be, like how does this play into like the challenge of art and the challenge of life? How does it, or what does it mean to you to have to talk to these people, and what does it mean to fight that battle, I guess?
What does it mean to have to fight that fight? I wanted my parents to be proud of me. I wanted to show the world that on my terms, this inner sissy boy, you know, on my terms, I would succeed. So then they come at you, and you have to use all this stuff. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my imagination. Use my imagination, use everything. That's how I had to do it, and that's what I'm still doing, and trying to be kind, and trying to understand that I'm not the center of the universe.
I know that personally I often think about like what the future will be like for me as a Black individual in the art world. How do you feel like being Black and being in the arts, how do you deal with other people and their opinions of you, as well as like yourself? Like how do you move forward?
Give me your hand, honey. There was a time I thought this was impossible. That a handsome, pretty young Black woman would be sitting here asking me about art. Because I felt so lonely, right? I felt it was part of the phony I was, that I was the only Black there. But lo and behold, look at this room. Look. So I feel good. I think it's the best of times now for a young Black artist. So some people would have you think because you survived as a Black woman, you've already succeeded. But you know, success is more than that.
What advice would you give your teenage self?
To my teenage self?
Yeah.
Relax, man. You know, it's going to be all right. Don't be ashamed of being soft. Don't be ashamed of being poor. Don't allow yourself to feel like a victim. Everybody has a burden. Pick up yours and walk with it, boy.
And what would you feel like 17-year-old Bill's response would be?
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me. Or more quietly, yes, but what if I fail?
I hear you saying a lot, talking about how, I guess growing up is a resistance, is going against, or for you was going against a lot of things you saw. Do you feel like having all these things that you talked about in the digital age, I guess, do you think those might get in the way of this freedom of expression and idea of expression?
God, I wouldn't want your job. You know, you have so many choices, and you can have a whole life that's a virtual life. And where to get to the hard stuff of living? Now we know it's there, but you can avoid it like crazy. Don't you think? You know, I mean, with us, there was still this idea of, with us, I still had the sense of touch with the world. It was scalding, but there was no buffer between me and the world. Even my parents were barely a buffer because they were poor Black people. So only the buffer had to be developed in terms of my manipulation of language and using the body as a seductive instrument. Those were the controls I thought I had. God, you might disagree, but it seems you guys have a lot more buffers, particularly the internet.
What is on your playlist this week? Top 5 songs.
Tower of Song by Leonard Cohen. Anybody know it? Yeah. Go listen to it. Tower of Song.
If you could be stranded on an island with only three things, people or objects, what would you pick?
Well, my companion, first. A good source of water and food. I mean, I'm sorry, but yeah. Okay, the complete writings of Montaigne and Proust.
What's your favorite and least favorite word?
Favorite word is rigor. Rigor. Least favorite is my bad. Hate that term. My bad. What do you mean, my bad? Oh, that was my mistake. Oh, I was wrong. No, my bad.
Okay, the last question. If you could have any other profession other than the one that you have now, what would it be?
God, I don't know. I think maybe an editor of great books. Or maybe your teacher.
So thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. So ICA Teen signing out. I don't know.
You guys are...